All right, team, are you ready to help me change the world? That's right. I have something that you can do from the comfort of your own home, even your own car. Doesn't cost a dime. Become a happy, confident person. That's right. 99% of the world's problems are caused by miserable, insecure people and the wreckage and havoc that they wreak in their effort to make themselves feel better. See, happy people don't need anything from anyone. But we're very confused about what happiness is. We think happiness is power, or happiness is arrogance, or happiness is having a lot of stuff. We're very confused about this point. And we still think that happiness can come from outside of ourselves. We still think if we can get the people in our lives to behave perfectly, or the people in this world, or if we only look at things that we like and everybody agrees with us, right, that we will feel better. Or maybe we can get all the things that we want, or have a great job, or the right partner, or the right family and kids, that somehow that will make us happy. But you can have all of those things and still be miserable. Don't ask me how I know. Actually, you're even more miserable. And we also have happiness confused with sort of this fleeting feeling we get when we get those things. That's why it's never enough, right? That's why they're the 7 deadly sins. Because we think, well, I got a little bit of a fix from that, right? Like that cookie made me feel a little bit better, or that extra money I'm getting, or the fancy clothes, or the new haircut, or the new guy, or the new girl, or whatever it is. It made me feel better for a little bit. And so we start chasing that, thinking that that is actually happiness and that some way that's going to be sustainable. But what's the number one rule of unhappy people, right? Misery loves company. And so you can easily see that most of the world is feeling pretty bad and trying to make other people feel bad with them. Like that's what it's all about. I mean, that's what mocking is about, criticism, all this angst we have on social media, road rage, stepping on marginalized people, marginalized populations to get ahead. Like it's all what we're up to, because when you feel like crap, you don't care if you make other people feel like crap. In fact, there's nothing more annoying to someone who is not feeling good than a happy person. Of course, the happy person doesn't care, because that's why happy people are the most powerful people in the world. They don't need anything from anyone to feel good. And that really drives miserable people insane, and they just find it annoying, and they'll make up all kinds of excuses of why they don't like happy people, right? They don't like this person because they just don't get it, or, you know, they lack depth, or they're stupid, or they don't like their face, or whatever it is. But if you can get them to be really honest, it'll be that they're jealous. And if they can't be happy, then no one else should be too. And we are really good at this right now. We are really, really good at making other people feel bad. But if you're really happy and you're really confident where you stand, no one can impact you anyway. Happiness is just as contagious as misery, but the happy person doesn't care if you're actually happy or not. They're just sharing their self-generating joy. Happy, confident people also are able to express themselves effectively. So a huge issue we have going on right now is you're just supposed to sense that I'm not happy, and I'm going to be sort of miserable. My mood's going to change. We have this a lot with our kids. We have this a lot with our partners, ladies. We do this a lot, right? Where I'm just going to act upset, and other people are supposed to know what I want them to do. And if they change their behavior, then I'll feel better. And in that, a couple things are happening that are very interesting. One, I'm teaching people that they're responsible for my emotional condition. In fact, I'm guessing if I were to ask, what's keeping you from being happy today, 75 to 80% of people would say, my husband, my kids, my job, my finances, something outside of themselves. Because we still think that those things outside of us, that we can still affect our internal condition with external things. We still think it works. And we blame other people for the way we feel. And it's never worked for thousands of years. It's never worked. You can't get enough stuff to make you feel happy, and you can't make the world behave well enough. but we still try to achieve it, especially in our own homes. And so we send these messages that I'm unhappy and everyone's supposed to sort of change their behavior because they're responsible for how I feel. And in that, we don't make direct requests, because the truth is, if we're honest with ourselves, a lot of times we don't know why we're unhappy. We're just a bit miserable, and it makes us feel better if the kids scramble or the partners scramble, right? Makes us feel cared about, which is pretty twisted. And, but that causes a huge breakdown. It causes a huge breakdown in relationships everywhere. We have this going on, right? We can't even have friends that disagree with us anymore, right? They're supposed to agree with everything we say and co-sign all of our BS. And what happens? We're not growing at all, because we don't have anyone around us who actually cares about us and wants us to grow and is willing to give us honest feedback, because we're not a space for honest feedback. We just want people that agree with us, which sets us up to have deceptive people around us, or manipulative people who are nice to us to get things from us, or just really weak of character people, because they don't have the strength to tell us maybe what we need to hear or speak their minds. And in partnerships, this is especially devastating because we get resentful. One, we get resentful if we think our partner is supposed to make us feel better and he's not, or she's not, then we're upset. But if they do acquiesce to our sort of passive aggressive mood signals, then let's be honest, we don't respect them. Come on, ladies, I don't respect a guy if my little mood swing can make him fall in line. No, he needs to hold me high. And I want him to believe that I'm strong enough and hold me high enough to hold me accountable and say, hey, Missy, you're a powerful woman and you need to be able to stand on your own 2 feet. And I know that if you are upset, you can go make yourself be happy. Now, if you want to tell me why you're upset and have a request of something I can do, or have a conversation about what needs to be done, we can do that. And we can look for and solve for a solution. But otherwise, you got to go figure it out. This isn't my thing. So we get resentful for people for also not asking us to be more. We're capable of more. But we aren't having honest, direct conversations. We're also scared of it. Like, someone might say something I don't want to hear. But that's where all the power is. And when you're confident, you know how you feel, you know who you are, it's not a problem to talk to people and tell them what you need or make requests. And we don't hold people accountable for our mood. And if someone's done something to upset us, we have the ability to go speak to them about it. Especially in a professional environment, you see this all the time, where someone is a boss and someone's done something to upset them on their team, or they're just having a mood that day and they're walking around and everyone's on eggshells. No one really knows what it's about. Maybe you kind of think it's about you, but they're not being honest with you. And you don't really know what's going on, and it creates so much discomfort and all of these like weird feelings, when if you're a boss, you should be able to just sit someone down and say, hey, and not have emotion, and just say, hey, this doesn't work for me, what you're doing, like, let's solve for it. It doesn't have to be personal, and they aren't supposed to read our minds. We also see it with kids. We're teaching our children that they are responsible for our emotional condition. And if they're bad, then we get upset. And that's supposed to motivate their behavior. But that's really sick, and unfortunately creates children that, rather than listening to their own voice inside and trusting themselves and being willing to stand up for themselves, because we often don't create that space in the home. It's, I'm the parent, this is my house, you do what I do. Well, you'll notice when that's happening in a house, because when the kids go out in the world, what's the parents going to say? They're so easily influenced. Like, no, they're not easy to influence. You've taught them that it's their job to put themselves on a back burner and put everyone else at a higher priority level and listen to them above me. Parents think that kids can distinguish, that they're only going to listen to their parents and only put the parents ahead of their own internal connection. And let's be honest, a lot of parents want that. I want you to listen to me over yourself. But it transfers. So when they go out into the world, their bosses, their partners, anyone else that's close to them can influence them, because they believe they're responsible for those people's emotional condition. On the one hand, one type of personality. Another type of personality will realize that they can manipulate people by playing to their emotions and making them feel better. We're teaching deception. We're teaching people to lie to us. And then we wonder why we don't have close relationships with people. But when you have an expectation that someone act a certain way so you can feel a certain way, there's no freedom in that. You're trapping people. You're putting them in bondage, and they're going to be resentful at you, even if it's on sort of an unconscious level, because they can't be real because you can't handle the truth. Just like, you can't handle the truth. But we can't handle the truth right now. And we don't realize that if you're, again, a happy, confident person, you don't need other people to agree with you. What's beautiful in the West, what's amazing about being in America, we have choices. We have so many choices. And we're free to make those choices. But suddenly, we're not happy because other people aren't agreeing with our choices. But that's part of having choice. And that also shows you that people aren't choosing because it makes them happy and it's what they want. They're choosing for other people's approval. And that's really dangerous, right? That falls in on itself. If you really want to do something, just do it and feel great about it. Who cares what anybody else thinks? That's part of it. But that points at this level of insecurity that we have. Because insecurity is every bit as negative, right? If I'm insecure, I don't want other people that make me feel insecure around me. So I can't be surrounded by people who intimidate me or totally badasses and take it up a level, right? No, it's a quick race to the bottom here, right? Miserable people want miserable people around them. Insecure people want not excellent, just sort of crappy people around them so they don't have to feel threatened. So no one's allowed to be more awesome than me, otherwise it makes me feel bad. And we're jealous and we're envious. But how do you get confidence? By self-esteem. It's called self-esteem for a reason. You got to do esteemable acts viewed by the self. That's what makes us feel confident and good, self-esteem. So doing things, not because someone else approves of it, because you're doing what feels good and you view as esteemable to you. We're all getting real wonky because we think it's supposed to be everybody else is responsible for how I feel. I mean, look at it. Road rage is the same thing, right? Everyone else needs to behave how I need them to behave so I can feel better because I'm so miserable. And I want to be right about everything and no one can disagree with me because, oh my gosh, my world is so fragile that if someone thinks I'm wrong or I might be shown to be wrong, I come undone. It's insecurity. So think of a world where people know who they are. They don't need people to agree with them. They're making powerful choices that make them feel good. They're able to express themselves. They're feeling good everywhere they go, sprinkling that sunshine on everybody else. Like, this is the world that we're shooting for. And you can help contribute to it by prioritizing your own feelings and learning to satisfy and make yourself feel better without anybody else's input. That's the trick. So, obviously there's a lot more on this topic. It's a good little starter to kick it off. Thinking about what is something that makes you feel good. Not the short term like physical pleasures, right? They're gonna buy you off for 5 minutes. The bag of cookies might make you feel good, but over time, too many cookies, like, it's not gonna make you feel good. It's not healthy for your body. How do we get this internal state going of feeling good? What's something that just makes you feel really good to think about? That's a great place to start, is thinking. What's something you can think about? Doesn't make you feel right, doesn't make you feel powerful, doesn't make you feel better than other people. You don't need to put anyone down, but what's something you can think about that's just good, that makes you feel great? Like, bees on flowers and orange groves. Something beautiful, a picture that's beautiful, or something that's thriving, or a really fun topic in some way, something that's funny. Baby animal pics, whatever it is. What's something that makes you feel really good? And what's something that makes you feel confident? Where do you feel, what's one area of your life where you feel really confident? I think that's all I got for today, folks. Happy day.